Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody. David, I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting. Sorry we're getting started a couple minutes late. I screwed up a little bit on an invite, I don't know where, but two people found the wrong invite, or not the invite I intended, so I think that's corrected now. In any case, we're live streaming to YouTube. It works on many devices, but it doesn't work on the Lume Pad 2, and I have a tech support case in, but in any case, you can go back after the meeting and watch the YouTube recording. So, in any case, we can get started. The theme tonight is reflections. We have open projector as usual. We'll select images for round 2 of ISCC. We'll choose themes for future meetings, and we'll show part 2 of the ISU code folio 34. But before I get started, I'd like to recognize a long-term member. He was a founding CSC member. Ron Kriesel passed away in December. So in any case, I didn't find out till just a couple days ago. Otherwise, I certainly would have had something in the stereo views about it. So in any case, I think that we're getting some echo from somewhere. I'm not sure where, but
try Jim's.
what I'll do is let's I think there's a way to mute everybody, but I mean,
it's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Is that a conversion?
It is.
I wouldn't know.
Yes, it is. Okay.
I don't, never seen it before.
Yes,
so
it is a conversion.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, it was in one of Shablevy's books, and it is a photo from taken by his wife, and so I thought it was a nice photo to recognize him. Anyway, we'll start out with theme photos. Dave Allen.
Okay, reflections. Now this is the bathroom downstairs, and I stood in the door and did a cha-cha. So the picture of me is 3D. I mean, it's positive. It's not reversed. But because if I move to the right, all the reflections move to the left, so you can see the reflections are reversed. Now, get the next one. Now I flip it cross-eyed, and now the things on the right are right, and now I'm reversed. And that's because...
Transmit those.
Pardon?
Herb, are you going to show those on the screen?
They are on Stereopic's rooms. So it's the standard link for Stereopic's rooms. If somebody can put that in the chat, so Peter can get to that.
Anyway, I fixed this one, so put me from the previous one in this one, so all 3 of them were positive, but this is the way it actually came out with my cha-cha image. Anyway, again, how do you get a picture of a mirror without anybody in it? With Photoshop. Anyway.
Yeah.
And there's 2 more mirrors. You can see that one mirror down there and this mirror here, back and forth. And to the right is my sacred 3D room, my man cave. Okay, this is again a picture. I don't remember how I took this, whether I moved the mirror or moved the cameras, but a long time ago that was the camera I used, and I had that little camera from, I think it was AOL or something,
Webcam, yeah.
and I don't know where it is anymore. And anyway, here's another picture of those same things. That's a long story about this. I had that, I think it's a Kodak camera, and I took a buddy of mine who came from Korea. I says, here, you can use this camera and I'll use my camera. And if you loan anything to somebody from Korea, they think you're giving it to them.
Oh,
So he never gave it back. Anyway. Yeah, there's some reflections at the on our sink in the kitchen. I thought that was kind of cool. You know where this is, Monument in Washington, D.C.
sure.
with the reflection.
It's the reflecting pool.
Yeah. And this is, you all know I'm LDS Mormon. This is the Mormon temple in Idaho and Provo, Utah, reflected in the Good Skin building. So that building is nothing but windows, and then you can see the reflection of the temple. And again, this is a reflection pool of the Portland, Oregon temple. And that's it.
Thanks, David. And Matt.
Good
Good evening, everybody.
This
This first batch, most of these I shot in October at the Alameda Point Antiques Fair. It's a flea market. I was shopping for a leather jacket. Didn't get the jacket, but I was inspired to shoot mirrors, and I was really happy with the results. All of these I took with the X-Reel Beam Pro, which I just had on me.
Nice.
Yeah, here's another one. I think they pretty much speak for themselves. I had a lot of fun taking these. I think they turned out really well.
Yeah.
I just sort of went on a mirror hunt. I didn't come to the antiques fair with this plan in mind. I was just kind of inspired, I guess, after being disappointed not finding what I actually went there for. Yeah, here's another one. And these all have about the same title. They're all from the Point Alameda Antiques Fair.
So,
A lot of mirrors.
so you just waited.
These people in the reflections, or is that just people passing by?
Those are just people passing by. Yeah, I stationed myself by these mirrors. I would lurk around for 5 minutes or so, wait for someone to come by, and hopefully get a shot.
Yeah.
Worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm going to definitely go back and do it again. And this is not at the flea market. This is at the Pacific Pinball Museum in Alameda, Bay Area town. I was there a week or two ago. And for this one, I shot the reflection on the pinball machine, and then I rotated it and I flipped it. So what we're seeing is the pinball table upside down. But I like the reflection, I like the lights, I thought it made a good subject.
Yeah.
This is, I shot this at the San Francisco Botanical Gardens. I think that's the title actually, something like that. This is another X-Reel Beam Pro shot, as was actually the last one of the pinball machine. And not a whole lot of depth here, but I do like the way it's sort of reflected in its own leaves. The leaves have fallen in this tree. You see the tree naked, but we also see the leaves in the same shot. I thought that worked out pretty well.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
And Bob.
Good evening. This is not a great 3D shot because it's a painting. It's on a river wall in Paducah, Kentucky. They have a wall to keep the Ohio River, I think it is, in its banks, and they have like 47 murals on all these walls. They're just fantastically painted, and this one just happened to have a reflection.
I grew up in Paducah.
Cool. This is a reflecting pool at the Alhambra, I think, in Granada, Spain. Same here. I like this one better. A reflection of a building on a Ferrari. This is in Nashville. It's a reproduction of the Parthenon. That's my wife at one of those goofy mirror places. And this is 100 of me, unfortunately.
It doesn't look like quite that many.
You're all smiling. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And Ken.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, this was at the Lake Geneva Library. I thought it was interesting to take, you can see inside the library, and then if you concentrate, you can see the lake shore of Lake Geneva. I guess it's Geneva Lake. And this was just done with mirrors, little fun with a little corgi doll and a little reflective sheet. And here's a red hydrogen one self-portrait with a couple of mirrors. and a little Bluetooth trigger. And this is a 3D mirror scope. I don't know, you can get them on eBay for, I don't know, 10 bucks. And it comes with this little frog, and he's perfectly sized. So you get a little holographic image. It's two, as you can see, it was two concave mirrors. If you go to the next one, you can see standing. He is not there. He's at the bottom of that, those two mirrors. But he looks like he's on the top.
Yeah, I had one of those when I was a kid. It's a very interesting illusion.
Not too many things that really work in this. They did a good job with the frog. And if you go to the next picture, I had a very tiny Viewmaster, so I put a Viewmaster in there.
I wonder what it would look like if it was 10 feet in diameter. You could almost see a person in it.
Okay, thank you, Bob. And David.
Okay, this isn't a very good picture, but it's another Mormon temple. Interesting, we've already seen one tonight, two tonight. This is the Mormon temple outside of Washington, D.C. And I took this picture looking into the wall of windows on the visitor center. So you see me at the bottom taking the picture with my W3. And at the top you see the reflection of the temple. Then you can see through the wall into the visitor center. And on the lower right there's a scale model of the temple. And then there's a statue of Jesus in between me and the scale model.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a picture of the temple and its reflecting pool.
Okay, thank you, David. And so, Lee, you're muted.
Still muted.
Lee, you're still muted.
Did you mute him or
No.
did he mute him?
Try it now. I think you're not.
Okay,
There we
can
go.
you hear?
Ye-
There
Yes.
you are.
Oh, fighting these computers is a lot of fun.
Well, the computers are having a lot of fun fighting you.
Yes. All right, let me get back to the other scene. So I can see it too. Sorry, guys. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, most of these are quite old images. They were actually slides, transparencies. This is somewhere up in the, Vermont, New Hampshire area. I have a lot of reflections of water. This is bad water in Death Valley. The lowest point. It was very nice that particular day. There was water and a boardwalk you could walk out on.
Wow.
This is in Jenny Lake, I think, out in the out in the Grand Tetons. Fall when the trees are pretty.
Yeah. I know where that
I
is.
recognize that one.
Okay, Crater Lake, right?
Yep.
Yep.
That is Maroon Bells in Colorado near Aspen, I think. That is not me. And there were 100 photographers behind me. Unfortunately, they did not get in front of me.
I like the way you caught the line in the air there on that one.
I worked hard on that. Okay, I need to explain this. This is a holographic display. Anyone there familiar with the Environmental Research Institute of Michigan in Ann Arbor? They were some of the early developers of holograms. And they had a contract with us. That's a picture on Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. They had a contract with us to make a holographic display where you would look in it and you would see the target, and then you could aim your weapon at the target. And I was taking pictures out of a window with left and right cha-cha pictures with my camera.
So that helicopter is fake?
No, it's a real helicopter that was sitting outside.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the target is basically you're aiming at the helicopter.
Yes, I'm aiming at the helicopter. You should see the red half-circle patterns right at the helicopter surface.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Not too many people have seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what is it? Pemaquid Lighthouse in Maine. There's a water hole there you can go over and take a picture of a reflection of the lighthouse. And I went there and took a picture and moved in about 3 minutes because another photographer was waiting for me. It turned out he was a former PSA president. He spent about an hour there. Riverside Geyser. Rainbows are reflections.
Yes.
Grand Tetons in the fall. Lots of reflections of the mountains.
Wow.
That's also in Grand Tetons. Close to where I think you get on a boat to cross Jenny Lake.
Okay, thank you, Lee.
Yeah,
So
very
a
nice.
question, do you have a film scanner that you used, or did you use a flatbed scanner and just scan it that way?
Those were scanned a long time ago, probably, but I have one of the fancy, what was it, Cool Scan?
Oh, the
5000,
Nikon.
6000?
The
Yeah,
nice
nice
one.
ones, yeah.
Did a good job scanning it.
Thank you.
And George?
Yes, hi everybody. Now, here's something I learned early on. When you take tabletops, if you use a mirror and maybe lift your subject in a glass, then you have a reflection in the mirror, you create an extra layer of depth in the tabletop. Maybe it will help. Next. One of my favorite objects for reflections is the bin in Chicago. This is my sister on the left, taking a picture of the bin and the buildings in the back.
I've always wondered how often they clean that.
I don't know. The next one is from the other side. This is one of my favorite ones. So you see the people doing all the stuff the tourists do and the reflection of the buildings behind and the buildings in the front.
Yeah,
Next.
most of them are looking at their phones. So they don't even need to be out touring. They could just do that at home.
Yes, and of course in the next one you see that a lot of people use their phones to take a selfie. And I jumped in to take a picture of them with the reflection in the back. Next. Of course, I look for natural reflections. This is on the water on the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, very close to my house. Next. This is a bridge in Nashville, I believe. I took this with my phone. You might notice the clouds moved a little bit. They appear to go over the bridge. Next. I was running a marathon race early at 6 o'clock. I had my cameras with me, so I managed to take this very early picture of the river there with reflections. Of course, buildings make a nice topic to get reflections through the many windows like in this one. This is in Nashville, reflection of the buildings and this piece of public art, there's reflections in it. This is interesting here. I was in Miami riding a bike and I took 2 pictures and back then I wasn't using my phone, I used a regular camera. I was riding the bike and of course the stereo bass was extreme, so when I went home I cropped all the bottom parts because they were interfering with the scene. But then I had to do something, so I used the digital reflection. So I created this picture here. It's done well in competitions.
George, I've seen a lot of reflection shots, but I love this one the best, I think. That's really, it really lends itself well to the reflection.
Considering to what I started with, I had to crop and magnify and isolate things. And yes, next one.
Well done.
Thanks. And this one combines an actual reflection on a ball and a digital reflection. I call this the 2 wives of Dr. T. This is my wife, both right and left. It's mirrored.
Okay, thank you, George. And Steve?
Okay, I'm glad I didn't send any of my bean photos. I almost did. So here is my reflection in glass marble.
Oh yeah.
And also a bunch of other glass marbles.
Well, you got some pretty marbles. I'm jealous.
This is a tram museum in Amsterdam, and you can see the trees behind me as I'm taking the photo. And this is the famous dancing houses on the Damrak in Amsterdam. And this is in the Rembrandt line, and I just like the reflections in the tram tracks there. And this is also the Rembrandt line looking the other direction. And this is in LeiaStream in Amsterdam. You see the reflections on the ground and in the tram. And this is, you can see my reflection and the two cameras I used. They were Samsung Gear 360s. And the cat seems to be enjoying modeling for the shot. And this is a crystal ball with reflections and a light painting. And here's another of the same. And these were some reflective rabbits from the Easter display a few years ago. And this is a neighborhood cat sitting next to a window. And if you look very closely in the bee's eye, you can see me reflected taking the shot.
Wow.
And this is the classic stereo window.
At least it's not broken.
Yep. And this is in Chicago. It's the Picasso statue. And I love the reflections of the diocese in the background. And this is in Amsterdam near the Westerkerk.
So the buildings are reflections? Yeah. And,
Yep. You're looking into a shop window.
and the plant is in the shop.
Yep. And the tables.
Yeah. Boy.
The cars and the buildings are outside, and the trees, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Steve and Mark. And while I remember Mark, are you able to attend a board meeting this Thursday evening?
Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah.
Okay, I will send out an invitation tonight.
Okay.
And,
Those was one of the first shots that I took once I got a W3 camera. I was in an antique store and I had this mirror on the wall, so I had to try a self-portrait there. And another self-portrait, this is in a hotel hallway. This was, there was one of those dome security mirrors up on the ceiling. And so I just aimed the W3 up.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I had to take quite a few shots to get things lined up right there. It was hard to see what was being captured at the moment, but
This is great.
this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's really nice.
very interesting perspective.
And there was a kind of a funhouse mirror set up over at Seaside, Oregon several years back. I don't think it's there anymore, but I was over there with my wife. And so again, there's me, the W3, and my wife. I think the next shot is in the same place.
Different mirror.
Very wide and low. This is a display in downtown Portland. I'm not even sure if it's still there or not, but it was like a mirror box so that the reflection would go off back into infinity, and it was very difficult to shoot at night because there were all kinds of reflections of cars and streetlights and things that kept showing up as well. So some of these have some distracting elements, but there's several shots. They had different patterns and different designs all along the side of a building with these things. So many reflections. Yeah, lasers reflect well. This is a Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert. They have mirrors sitting down on the stage that they pre-aimed the lasers at, so they hit the mirror and then shine out up over the audience. And for brief moments, they turn them all on there, so there's lots of reflecting going on. You can see along the front of the stage all the spots where the lasers are hitting and reflecting back up. Yeah, this is over at the beach. There was kind of a sunset happening and a big wet area of sand, so it looked like a good place to capture a sunset reflection. And another, I think I've shown this before for another theme, but this is sunset over at Lincoln City. This is a sequential shot with a W3. Get a little bit more dimension in there.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And open projector, Dave.
Okay, with my wife in bed, and I gotta stay close so she can hear, I play around with the computer, and here's the world tour by YouTube. So I went to YouTube, and every time I found something panning left to right or right to left, I took 2 pictures. And I don't know where this is, but there's someplace in it's someplace in Italy, the tower. And you'll notice that that first one had the words on the top. They all had the words on the top and the bottom, but I did them. You can see this one on the far left on the border. I forgot to get part of the red thing out. But anyway, this is someplace in the USA where the wind was blowing so hard that the waterfalls didn't hit the ground. And you know where this is? Pisa. There's the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, there it is.
And again, like I say, these are things I found, and they were panning to the left or panning to the right, and so I took 2 pictures and made them into a 3D. I don't know where this is, but I thought that mountain looked like it was about ready to fall over. It may have been the way they took it, or it may really be that leaning. I don't know. And I don't know where this is. You can see that down on the bottom, the thing that I didn't get erased. But I don't know where that is, but it was a fantastic building. I don't know where it is. If you look on the left eye and the right eye, you'll see the fireworks are different, but they seem to merge somehow. This is in Singapore, yeah, Singapore. And those things in the middle are supposed to look like trees, but they're physical things with leaves on them, and then these museums and stuff, and the buildings on the right are where you could rent a room. I liked it. And here, how would you like to drive down that road? I don't know where it is, but it was someplace in Europe. You can see again on the bottom that I didn't get the line all fixed up very good. And there, how would you like to ride your bike on that? I don't think I'd even like to walk on that, but there's a guy riding his bicycle on that trail. Oh, and these penguins, I wonder how close that iceberg is to the real land. But if those penguins are out way far, they're going to eventually starve to death because they're all on that iceberg. And I often wondered whether that middle is fresh water and the ocean is salty water, or whether, or what. Anyway, it was an interesting picture. And here's where all our military tax dollars go to. I don't know how many of those big bombers and how many of those little fighters. And this is someplace in, I think in Arizona, someplace where they store all those antique airplanes.
I think it's near Tucson.
Tucson, Arizona, yeah. But
Very creative.
it goes, that's only it goes, about 3 times the width of that. That's all I got. Anyway,
Okay. Thank you,
Those
Dave.
were a lot of fun, Dave.
yeah.
And George.
Yes, hi. I want to talk a little bit about my latest twin camera rig. These are 2 Sony A7R4 cameras with 24mm lenses. I'm holding in my hands. They're rather heavy because they're heavy cameras, but the whole rig is compact when I mount them bottom to bottom. Next. What I do when I take pictures, first of all, because they're vertical, I keep the aspect ratio 1:1, so I usually crop them to 16:9 to fill the projection screen. This is a magnification of 1.8 times, so essentially my 24mm lenses become like 44mm lenses filled with view, so more normal, and give me nice normal pictures. Next. While I was in Tucson for the PSA photo festival, they had model photo shoot. So I went there and I took pictures with my 24mm lenses and the Sony camera. So this is how the picture came out of the camera. So what I did the next step, I cropped it. I cropped it quite a bit to actually take a very decent portrait. Which is quite amazing that this portrait that normally is a portrait that a long lens would take has taken with a 24mm lens. Let's see another example. The next one shows a little bit more details. You see they have a little reflections at the top screen to throw more light to the model. There's a guy in front of me taking, I'm sitting there with my Sony ring in my hand, 24mm lenses, and then the next one, then I crop it, and I get this, what I think is a nice portrait of the model. Now, the next one will show you the metrics, exactly what's going on here. So, first of all, my Sony camera is called the A7R4. What are all those numbers and letters mean? Sony has all those, you need a PhD degree to figure out their camera system. A or Alpha is the family of cameras, 7 is the model, and there's a 9 to this A7 and A9. This letter R means high resolution. Some cameras are not high resolution. Now you can ask me, why would anybody buy not a high resolution camera? Because if they're more interested in video, they really don't care about high resolution. And as a matter of fact, lower resolution is better light and low light performance. So not everybody wants a high resolution, but I like it. And the last 4 is the version. First comes the camera with nothing, then it's 2, 3, 4, and now they're up to 5. So this is what this camera means. Now the resolution of this camera is 60 megapixels. To put in perspective, the Fuji has 10 megapixels, and many cameras have 20. So this one is 60, which allows me to do extreme cropping. And in this case, the picture on the right, it's only 800 pixels vertical. So I started with 6,300 pixels on the left, then I cropped it to 800 pixels, and I used a little bit of topaz to upscale it. So essentially, my focal length is 8 times 24. It's 200 millimeters. So there you go. I'm holding this very compact camera. I can take regular pictures, and all of a sudden I'm taking portraits without even switching lenses. Now one might say, what's going on with the deviation? When you increase the focal length, the deviation increases proportionally. So I'm going to ask somebody like Mark Wilkie, why is the picture on the right look quite natural? Why isn't the deviation blown up since the focal length has increased 8 times and the deviation has increased 8 times? Can you tell me why? What's going on?
I can't tell you. No, maybe somebody else can.
Well, what's happening is as I increase the magnification, I crop the bottom. You see, I crop the near point. The guy there actually was giving me extreme deviation on the left picture. and also the top, the infinity. So by cropping the near and the far, you end up with nicely balanced picture, even though you increase the deviation by a lot, you cut the near and far points. Next. So basically, my conclusion is, with these cameras with very high resolution, you can have one lens, in my case is this lens, 24 millimeter, for everything. I mean, everything from 24 millimeters to 200 millimeters without ever changing lens. It's like a digital zoom. So that's my open presentation.
I have
George,
a,
don't recall at the beginning when you showed the picture of you with the camera, did you have them face to face then, or how did you?
Yes, I had them base to base with a simple screw, so it's minimal hardware, as lightweight and compact as those cameras can get. When I first got the cameras, I tried some zoom lenses. The problem with zoom lenses, they're heavy, and then unless if you're working on the two extreme ends of the focal length, you need to match the focal length, and that's a pain, really. So now I settled to the most compact configuration I can get. Using these are very compact and nice sharp lenses.
I have a comment. I had two Canon cameras that way, and do you use manual focus or do you let them autofocus?
I always let them autofocus. I found that in most cases they pretty much, the focus is matched.
Yeah, part of the problem I had was one camera would see something just a little different than the other camera, and they would focus. One image would be focused and the other wouldn't be focused.
Yeah,
I used to shoot two Canon's T50s many years ago with 18 millimeter lenses, the same way, and just zoom in on the. I would shoot slides and then zoom in the slides to get that same effect.
The other comment I have is my Canons didn't quite take the picture the instant I pushed the button. In other words, the camera was putting the image on the screen, and when you push the button, sometimes they weren't at the same time. Do you have that problem?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it turns out that those Sony cameras have something called the multi-port, and people found out that if you connect the multi-ports, you get very good synchronization.
Oh, okay.
A lot of cameras, there's a delay because the screen refreshes, so when you press the shutter button, the cameras don't take the picture at the same instant.
Yeah.
They might be like 1/50th of a second off, but that's enough to create a problem with the two cameras.
Absolutely.
But the Sonys don't have this problem, so that's why they make good cameras for twinning.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Okay, yeah, I am very impressed with how good those close-up look from,
Wow.
but, was starting with 60 megapixels, that's how come it did it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a testament to the quality of the camera, which is a full sensor, a full frame sensor, and the lens. And if you try to do this kind of thing with a Fuji, even if you magnify 3 times, not 5 or 8 or anything like that, the picture is not going to look anymore. It's not going to look good. It breaks down. But here it doesn't. It's a good thing.
George, did you say that you did some software sharpening of some kind as well?
Well, yeah, because when I get 800 pixels vertically, I would like to have 1080 for HD resolution, so I use Topaz to upscale it to 1080. That can make a difference. You can see it when you look at the picture closely. So I upscale it for 800. Normally I don't do this kind of extreme cropping. I don't go past the 1080 vertical cropping. But in this case I did, and then I upscaled them with Topaz, and they turned out pretty good.
I'm not that familiar with Topaz. Is that a standalone product, or is that a Photoshop filter of some kind?
It is a standalone, and there are different programs. I use Topaz AI, and one of the things, if your picture is small, it gives you an option to upscale it if you want to. Then there's another version, one program that all it does is upscale pictures. So if you have a little very small size resolution picture, you can upscale it and still look pretty good. So this is something that a lot of programs can do today.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, that B photo that you saw of mine was upscaled just using the Sony, my Samsung photo editor in my phone, and upscaled it.
Wow.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to select photos for the second round of ISCC, and what I'll do is I'll first go through all the photos one time, and then I'll go back and we'll do it again and enter scores. Anyone who wants to serve as a judge is welcome to do so. The QR code should enable you to get logged in to the judging software. So I'm just first going to go through the images. So,
Is that a call?
Yeah.
okay, so there are six photographers submitted a total of 24 images. And if I'm going too quickly, just let me know and I'll slow down.
Yeah, I am at a club meeting right now. I won't be out till about 9 o'clock, so you want me to... Tomorrow, okay, tomorrow. Bye.
I can't find the voting link.
Oh, I'll go back to it. We're just looking at the things just to see what's there, and then I'll go back to the voting link. Okay, so let me go back to the voting link. Oops, So there's the voting link. And you should be able to scan the QR code and get into the system.
I'm not very good at this, boy.
So when you get the QR code, does it not let you get in?
I just don't know what to do. I can take a picture of the code, right? I don't know.
You should have a code reader, and mine just sees it, and then it does the rest, and it gives you a link that you can follow.
My phone is 10 times smarter than me.
There we go.
So what do I do now? Oh, voting. Hey, there it is.
So just put in your name.
There you are. And you can put your
Yes.
finger on there, and up comes your, keyboard and all that stuff. So the image is a little. I get a much bigger picture if I turn it sideways.
Dave is good enough, right?
Yes, it is.
Go. Oh, I'm Judge Chin. So
Can you
Is
remind us
that phone working with polarized glasses?
The
fellow at the in-person meeting, he has a red colored phone and he's got polarized glasses on.
Oh,
Is this a special phone for polarized?
this? No. It's just a red case is all
Okay.
on an Android.
I was wondering why you use the polarized glasses with it though.
Oh,
So
because
we're
I
able to take
haven't
photos.
bothered to take them off.
Yeah, because we're
Okay.
looking at images on the 3D TV, which is a passive 3D TV.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is everybody logged in who wants to be logged in? So what I'm going to do is let's get started.
Will you remind us the range of scores you use?
Yeah, it's 1 to 99, and
It'll show up on your scoring screen when
Yeah.
you get in there.
Oh, okay.
I think.
yeah, I think it should show up with on the scoring screen. I'm seeing a different screen than you guys, but
If you refresh, you'll see it.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you refresh?
there should be a refresh button in the lower left corner.
There it goes.
Okay, I think I'm still waiting for a couple of people to finish. I think Mike is I think the only one I'm still waiting for.
Sorry, Herb, I dropped out.
Okay, so I will just not worry about waiting for you. So basically then this one has a score of 80, and on to the next photo. So this is photo number 2. And this one has a score of 85. This is photo number 3. And this one has a score of 81. This is photo 4. The score is 65. Photo 5. Score of 74. Photo 6. Score of 79. Photo 7. Score of 79. Photo 8. Score is 75. Photo 9.
And reset.
Oh, did you?
Score 10.
So, did you have a problem with that score, David?
I reset it, but I didn't reset it. We'll leave it whatever it is.
Okay. And so the score on this is 75. Okay, score on this is 78. Score on this is 82. Score on this is 77. Score is 84. Score is 78. Score is 76. Score is 84. Score is 77. Score is 72. Score is 68. Score is 85. Score is 76. Score is 80. score is 70. And score is 80. I think that's the end of it. Yes, it is. So let's see how this will work out. So the first place image is 3D Printer by Ken Kovar. Second place is, that's not right. This is Stream and Fall, also by Ken. And third place image is Tight Squeeze Nav Utah by Dave Allen. And with ISCC, we submit the best 6 images with no more than 2 from any photographer. So this would have been the next image, but it's also by Ken, a Woodward size F governor, and so because we can only have 2 images from Ken, we skip this one. And the next image is this one, also by Ken, Forest Park in Autumn. So what we do is we skip this and we go to this image by Mark Wilkie. It's Skunk Cabbage. And then the next one is Bubbles Extra by Dave Allen. And then the final image is Sunk by Mikhail Bronstein. And so those are the 6 images that we will submit to ISCC. And thanks to everybody who entered, and I will get report cards emailed out.
This one.
What's that?
I did like this one.
My comment is there were some fantastic images, but the photographer didn't realize that they way out of the screen and border errors, frame errors, and fix your images so they go in the screen, and they'll probably rank a lot higher.
Yeah, I agree. There was an awful lot of window violations, including this one. This is a beautiful shot, but the bottom left corner maybe adjust a little bit.
And so, do people know how to open your photos in Stereo Photo Maker? And basically, if you don't know how to align it manually, do an auto align. Basically, it's good to view your images on a larger screen. because if you're having excessive deviation, it's going to show up more on a larger screen. But look for window violations, look for things like that.
I like to use the easy adjustment tool in Stereo PhotoMaker, the anaglyph alignment. I find that anaglyphs are less forgiving, or it's more obvious to me when there's a window violation in an anaglyph compared to like a side-by-side. Maybe that's just me.
For all of you,
I do that as well.
for all of you that haven't heard, my stupid computer won't do page flipping in Stereo PhotoMaker, so anaglyph is the only way in Stereo PhotoMaker to see what's happening. Anaglyph is the greatest if you haven't got anything else.
For those that need fixing, they know how to fix them?
Does anybody have a question about how to fix an image using Stereo PhotoMaker?
Because it'd be too bad to send it as is to ISCC.
Well, we're not, the only ones we're sending into ISCC were the top 6, so hopefully
And they were okay.
I believe nobody had, really bad comments about any of the top 6.
Okay.
Well, if you run the slider back and forth with the anaglyph showing for your window, you can see quickly what's in and out of the right place, and where it deserves to be. I find that works pretty good for Windows.
I'm willing to help anybody that wants to fiddle with that.
I do have a question on a different subject. Does anyone know how to make a grayscale map out of a stereo image as opposed to a flat image?
You mean a depth map?
Yeah, from taking a stereo pair to do the depth map out of, which would be more accurate than just out of a flat image.
Okay, I understand the question, I don't know the answer.
I've tried to find out how to do that, but I always get stuck off into some place where I have to buy something, and I just finally gave up trying to make a depth map out of a stereo pair. I just gave up.
Stereo PhotoMaker does have, and I haven't used it, I'm just looking at it. In the Edit menu, under Depth Map, there is Create Depth Map from Stereo Pair, which sure sounds like what you're looking for.
That's what I've tried, and like I say, I never can get a software or something that will do that. So if anybody learns how to do that through that path, I would like to know.
Yeah, that's I clicked it, and it's telling me that I need to download the necessary DMAG file, DMAG file. So this looks more complicated than it seems. But I guess Stereo PhotoMaker has the potential of doing what you're asking.
Matt, I tried what you're describing, and I couldn't figure it out either.
Okay, harder than it should be, I guess.
Yeah,
Dave Como is probably a good one to ask about that.
Oh, he was my roommate last year. I should have asked him. One thing I did learn, though, is to make just to do a slideshow, finally. I tried to ask about that, and I finally found a magic way to do it. It's probably not magic, but to me it was, which is Pro Show Producer software, which does 280 different transitions, of which about 6 seem to work in 3D. And you just sit there and blast away and load them and run an MP4 out of the whole thing, and bravo, it plays lovely. So that was solved.
Put that in.
Right.
David, what did you want me to put that in?
Somehow, or I don't remember what he said.
He said pro show,
Pro show producer. Pro show, one word, with a capital S in the middle of pro show, and separate word producer. And I had version 9, and I don't think they make it anymore, but I saw it on the internet somewhere and got it.
okay. Yeah, I heard of Pro Show Gold. I don't know if that's the same thing as Pro Show Producer, but I've never used it and don't know any more about it than that.
It's very intuitive, just drag and drop and click things. You don't have to know a lot about the programming. Thank
Okay,
goodness.
so let's defer this discussion for a little bit, but I would like to get back to it because it sounds like an interesting discussion. We will have some more time at the end of the meeting. But what I would like to do, we're going to select themes for future meetings. And so everybody can have 3 votes. You can vote for the same thing 3 times, or you can vote for 3 different things, and we'll just go around and let people vote, and we'll use the number of votes to determine what themes we'll be selecting. So does anyone want to start out?
I'll
Go ahead, David.
I'll go for electricity and flight and lighting.
Electricity and flight and lighting. Anyone else want to go?
Okay, I'll go electricity, seasons, and weather.
Okay, anyone else?
I'll go. I like landmarks, action, and gardens.
Okay.
Okay, I can go good vibes, seasons, and weather.
I'm going to say feng shui, flight, and seasons.
Okay.
I'll say unusual occupations, animals doing silly things, and that's about it.
Oh, are you? Look, you're
I
not.
think he invented one.
I think you invented one.
I just spoke off the top of my head. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, we have a list of choices here, but anyway.
I'm sorry. Oops.
I like those ideas.
Yeah,
Oh,
put that in
sorry.
the
Well,
list
let
next week.
me write down your other idea. Let me write down your ideas and consider them for the future. So, what were your ideas again?
Unusual occupations and animals in silly poses.
Occupations just happen to be one of them on the list.
I was thinking of unusual occupations, but
Okay, well,
sorry I didn't see the list.
okay. Well, anyway, you can, if you want to look at the list and come up with some votes, you can do that. But anyway, whoever wants to go next.
I'll go next. Action, seasons, and occupations.
Okay. Next.
I'd like to suggest occupations, ocean nautical, and landmarks.
Okay. Next.
I'll jump in with gardens, seasons, and the ocean nautical.
Okay. Next.
I'll do action, seasons, and ocean.
Action, seasons, and ocean.
How about occupation, motion, and games?
Okay. Anyone hasn't gone yet?
And Bob, I'll do gardens, stores, and weather.
Okay.
And if you allow me to now look at the list and make my choices off the list,
Sure.
I like actions, great outdoors, landmarks.
Okay. Anyone hasn't gone yet that'd like to? Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick good vibes, and I'm gonna pick nautical, and I'm going to pick seasons. And so if that is everybody, seasons was the top vote getter with 7, and then we had a bunch that were tied. Oceans Nautical had 4, Occupations had 4, and Action had 4. And then Good Vibes had 3, and Gardening had 3, and Landmarks had 3. And so, and Weather had 3. So I think basically what I'll use is I'll use those things. So in other words, seasons, and then action, occupations, and nautical, and then weather, landmarks, gardens, and good vibes. And that'll give us a good batch of themes for upcoming months. And thanks for your votes. And so what we'll do now is we'll look at the ISU code 34B, the second part of the ISU code. So what I need to do is I need to share my screen.
Yeah.
And then I need to.
Did you need a new video card? Is that why your computer is?
What was the question? the theme is nature. Is that correct? I thought we were out of themes, but anyway, okay. I thought we ran out of themes in March, but anyway, it says theme is nature, and normally in March we would select images for the third round of ISCC, but the Cascade Club is judging round 3, so we don't get to select images. We'll choose the images or score the images from other clubs. And then that's basically the end of the official part of the meeting, but we can resume our discussion about depth maps or slideshows or anything else that's of interest to folks. And I want to thank everybody who came tonight. I guess it's getting a little bit late for some attendees, but happy to have folks hang around as long as there's interest in interesting discussions. And just a reminder that if you want to save the chat before you leave the meeting, because once you leave the meeting, the chat disappears.
A couple of things to say. This is Lee Promised. Can you hear me?
Yes, Lee. There's a little bit of echo, but we can hear you.
Okay, good news. I got a call from John Andrew Hughes, who is the second guy in charge of PSA, and at the end of this year's PSA, he will be the top guy for next year. And he is looking at ways that will help solve the problems that we have with the PPSA and number of entries and things like that. So good news.
That is great news. That is great news, Lee.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that.
And yeah, thank you for escalating that as well. That was, it's like moving heaven and earth, it seems, to get this resolved.
Yes, it is, but I think we may be stuck with it this year, but next year I think we have good promise.
Well, it sounds like they finally heard us, thanks to you.
Yes, and I have applied to be a ROPA, one level above PPSA. They should approve it fairly soon.
Okay.
And basically, I believe that we will have some news shortly about what the Cascade Stereoscopic Club will be doing for exhibitions. And so we have a board of directors meeting this Thursday where hopefully we will make some final decisions and then be able to announce that.
What's the decision?
There is no decision to announce yet. We're going to discuss it at the board meeting on Thursday.
What are we discussing?
Where we are discussing exhibitions. We have nothing to announce yet.
Oh, I see. Okay. Great images tonight. It is late for me. I'm going to sign off. Thanks, guys.
All right, keep
Good
it
night,
light.
Me too, good night.
Same for me. Good night, everybody.
Okay, and
Thanks for the tips everyone put in the chat line.
And Peter, I assume you did finally connect to the StereoPix rooms and were able to see the images.
Yes,
Okay.
saw them all there.
Okay, very good. So that is the standard thing that we use every month. So
That would be helpful if that link was in there every time. Another thing you might find for people that mute or don't have their share screen, you can have little signs you hold up saying mute, or you know what I mean?
Something,
Just
yeah.
a thought.
yeah, okay.
Semaphore flags or something.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Good night, Peter.
Yeah, I got a suggestion. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Lee?
Yes, I'm still on.
In the BSA there is no portfolio distinction for 3D pictures. Can you take up that matter also? The BSA?
What do you mean? 3D prints?
Yeah, 3D pictures. All other sections are having portfolio distinctions, but 3D is not included.
Yes, only a few exhibitions in the last few years have had prints. One of them that has had prints in the past is the annual PSA exhibition that is shown at the convention.
Sorry, you got it wrong. I said portfolio distinctions for 3D.
No, there are no portfolio. That was canceled several years ago.
Why don't we start again? Pursue it.
I was kicked off the committee that did that. I provided the equipment to show the pictures for the portfolios. But the PSA is no longer does 3D for that. So I'm out of the loop.
Only BSA approves 3D, and even if they don't give it, who else will give us?
We will keep trying to get more and more things.
So Lee, was there a specific problem that caused them to stop? Was it not sufficient entries or problems with equipment, or do you know if there was a specific reason that they stopped?
If you have 2 or 3 minutes, I'll give you a history.
Well, we have plenty of minutes. We can give you 5 of them if you'd like.
Originally, it was planned to do the portfolios all together in one place in Florida. For PSA, I bought a 3D screen for PSA, and PSA paid for it, and I was able to project the 3D portfolios on that. The portfolio has some funny rules. All of the judges are supposed to see all of the images at one time. All of them at one time. Only a few people applied for 3D portfolios. One fellow did get 2 of them approved. 1 or 2 others were given the rights to resubmit if they wanted to, and they did not. And then 1 or 2 were turned down. I was not a voter. I was just someone who was projecting the images on the screen. 10, 15 pictures on a screen at one time, so the judges could review them. Then it was decided that they would not do that. It was costing too much money for people to go to Florida. So they decided to do it at the annual 3D convention or festival, wherever it meets. So eventually the 3D was 3D TV was transferred there. It is somewhere in Oklahoma. I don't know if anyone's looking at it or not, but I would certainly not want to use a TV that was only turned on once a year. So that's the story.
I've got to go because my wife is
Okay.
expecting me back.
Okay, so thanks for stopping by, David.
We'll talk to you Thursday about things.
Yeah.
That's more story than you wanted, isn't it?
Take care.
Actually, I didn't quite catch the last part there. I would think a TV that's only turned on once a year has minimum usage and would be excellent. How come you're averse to, you said you don't want to see a TV that's only turned on?
Well, that's my thoughts, but they were set up so they wanted everything to work the first time you turned it on and the first time you brought people into the auditorium to see it. And that is tough. And it was only me that said I would not like to use a TV that only got seen once a year. Some TVs go bad. One of mine has gone bad. One of my 3Ds. Also, they wanted to leave the images on the TV sitting there a long time. We were using a Sony TV that worked fine until you froze images on it, and then it had 1 or 2 pixels that went bad. Which was okay, but it makes you think it may be worse next time you use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lee, thank you. I think that was helpful. Mohannan, did that, I mean, you're not happy with the answer, but did it at least answer the question you had?
Yes, thank you.
And Lee, thanks for bringing all your knowledge to the meeting.
There were many more things too. Some people would like to have 3D prints. How do you look at a dozen 3D prints all at one time? All the judges.
Okay, folks, I need to drop off. Great images tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lee. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
I will see everyone next month.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Good night.
On another topic, I'd like to say a few words about Ron.
Yes, go ahead.
And maybe someone else would. He was very interested in outreach. And I went with him one time to a junior high here in town. We talked to students about 3D, and I think he did several other places where he did 3D presentations to try to get more people interested.
Yes, he did.
I met him several times. He was a very nice guy.
Yeah, oh yes. Well, my first NSA convention was in Mesa, Arizona. Was that the 80s, maybe? No, the 90s. Anyway, Ron, I was very much a newcomer, not knowing what to expect. And Ron was a good friend. He and his wife, I can't remember her name.
Jean.
Say it again?
Jean.
Jean, okay. I'd like to have his phone number so I can call her. But anyway, it made the convention a lot more pleasant for me to have him. Be a friendly to showing me the rules. For a long time, he ran the projector at meetings.
Yes, he did.
The old, slide, I think it was a slide projector.
Okay, Jim, I'm going to try and dig up his landline phone number and email that to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Herb.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, thanks, Lee.
Yes.
Anybody going to the convention in Minneapolis?
What convention is that?
That's NSA.
Okay. I personally am not. I don't know who might be. Do you know that the PSA convention is in Portland in September?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, well now you know.
I've been thinking about going to that convention in Minneapolis. I have relatives next door in Wisconsin, but don't have any firm plans yet, so I may or may not make it there.
Okay.
So for Portland, I will be running the 3D projectors for the PSA photo festival.
So is there, how much do they do about 3D at PSA?
I don't know. I've never been before.
Oh.
But it'll be an opportunity for me to meet folks that I haven't met. And,
yeah.
And I don't have to travel very far.
No.
I have attended 8 times, from 2012 onwards till 19.
June 19th?
2019, from 2012 to 2019.
I didn't understand.
Those are the years that he attended the.
And I was first exposed to video photography in 2012 conference.
Oh, I see.
I'm going to drop off too. Good night, everybody.
Okay, talk to you on Thursday, Mark.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
I think I'll follow him out as well.
Okay.
Thanks for the meeting, Herb.
Okay, well, thanks for stopping by.
Sure, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
What's the name of the man who said he got started exposing to 3D in 2012?
That was Mohanan Nair. He is in the catalog. You would see his photos as VGM Nair. Yeah, so I mean, he's entered the Cascade exhibition. If you look for VGM Nair, you'll find him in the catalog.
Okay. Does he live locally?
No, he's in India.
All the way from India, wow.
Yeah, so we attract a global audience now.
That's amazing. Have we had an Australian lately?
Not lately. I think there's been one time that we've had some, but
yeah, I was able to see the pictures, but they were too small. Is there a button for full screen?
What are you using to view them? Are you using, trying to do it on your iPad or a computer?
Yeah, iPad.
Yeah, I don't have experience with an iPad. Are you trying to use the iPad for both Zoom and for viewing the photos?
Yes. And I've done it successfully in the past.
Okay, well, see, I don't know what you've done in the past. There's nothing that's changed, so it should work the same way it's worked in the past, but I don't know what you did in the past.
No. I don't know what the difference is either. Can't do what I've done many times.
Yeah, I know it would be easier if you had a second device.
I've been using two iPads.
Oh, so if you use one iPad to view the StereoPix rooms and a separate iPad for Zoom, that should work. You should be able to see the photos full screen on that second iPad.
Yeah, it has worked. It didn't work today.
Okay, unfortunately I don't know.
Just you and me, I guess. I thank you for all the work you do.
Okay, well thank you. You have a great evening. I'm going to end the meeting. It's just about 9.
Okay, good night, Herb.
Good night.